It's rough, man. I don't even know what to say. Something like that could really mean the end of Sentai. Hey, what's up? I'm Pablo. I have been doing Sentai and Tokusatsu videos since earlier this year, and I have been doing coverage of Gozyuuger episodes up until the early 30s, around the time that Rei's arc had wrapped up. Along that time, some of the rumors had started to come out about the Maya Imamori situation. If you don't know about it, I'm making this video now to go over that and try to just give a brief timeline of what's happening, how is it happening, how has it been developing. I had abstained of doing a video about this before because it had been rumors and there had been no official action, but now since we had the announcement that she was stepping down and that she's gonna get replaced, now I'm making the video to go over it and speak about it, give my opinion a bit. The reason why I hadn't done this before, it's because there had been a lot of hate against a bunch of the actors, Gozyuuger in general and Super Sentai, and I thought that was a negative conversation that I didn't want to give into. At the same time, I do know that making a video about this kind of leans into that. I also know the title and the thumbnail are kind of clickbaity, but I did want to do this now that there are official statements and things that we can look into. So this is mostly just to follow up on the content that I've been making before, and also try it out in English because usually my videos are in Spanish, so just wanted to see how this worked. A bunch of the stuff I'm gonna talk about in this video assumes that you're caught up with Gozyuuger and kind of what's been happening up until the mid-30s and the recent developments that have been happening with the series on the internet. So if you haven't seen any of that, feel free to check out the other videos in this channel. They are in Spanish, but they also have auto captions and auto dubbing in English as well. And if not, feel free to check it out in other sources. And once you're caught up, feel free to come back because it may be spoilers and also assume some of the information beforehand. And by the way, this is all stuff that you can also look up online. You can find it on social media, on Twitter, Google it up, on a bunch of wikis that there are around. So just so you have a reference from where all of this is coming from. If I have anything wrong or my sources are mixed up, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. Thank you very much. So starting off, what exactly is happening with Gozyuuger? Ever since around September, there was an article that came out in a Japanese publication called Bunshun that does a lot of like tabloid and gossip type of news that came out about Gozyuuger. If you follow some stuff around anime, mecha, or seiyus in general, Bunshun is also the same publication that did the exclusive on Toru Furuya when he was caught in a cheating affair involving an abortion and stuff like that. So this same publication did an article that was talking about a potential affair that was happening within Gozyuuger, specifically between Maya Imamori and Kosuke Asai. So first off, who are these two people? Just for quick reference, Kosuke Asai is a suit actor. Is basically one of the actors that when you're watching a tokusatsu series, Power Rangers in general, when they are in costume, that's a different person. Sorry to break it if you didn't know about it. And that's basically what are we talking about when we refer to suit actors. For reference, he used to do Gosei Red in Gozyuuger, the one before Gokaiger. He was Lupin Red, he was Don Momotaro, and he was also GozyuWolf. He was a suit actor for the Red Ranger in Gozyuuger. While Maya Imamori, of course you may know, is the Black Ranger in Gozyuuger, GozyuUnicorn. Also the very first time there is a female in the black color scheme. Brief background on Maya Imamori: she used to be a TikToker and then was scouted out by an agency called Seiju. Remember that name, gonna be important throughout this, where she started then doing gravure, gravure, however you want to say it. I'm gonna use gravure, which if you don't know is basically bikini photo shoot or lingerie, sorry. And it's something that other actresses in Japan have done before, also in tokusatsu as well, both in Super Sentai and in Kamen Rider. There really wasn't much movement online. There was no official comments. Maya stopped tweeting at one point around mid-September. Filming for Gozyuuger got halted. And then along the way, Asai stepped away from the role mid-series. It was announced very briefly, and it was only in a way that the next episode that aired after that announcement, he was no longer being a suit actor. It was known that he had medical issues, I think something maybe around seizures, but I don't know the specifics about it, and that he also was contemplating not even being a suit actor for this series, but he was requested by Matsura, who is the director of the series. And I just want to catch myself here real quick because I'm not sure about the exact timeline of when Asai steps down. I think it was shortly before all that happened, but feel free to call me out in the comments if I'm getting this wrong in the timeline. During this time as well, there was an article coming out from Oricon, which is an entertainment publication in Japan that does a bunch of tokusatsu coverage, which announced that the Super Sentai series was gonna end after Gozyuuger. This led to a lot of panic on social media and a bunch of Sentai actors also talking about this in Japan. So all of this is snowballed along with the situation happening with Maya and Asai. So Asai's out, no one's talking, filming is suspended for a week, and more stuff keeps coming out until eventually it all comes to a close when on the 8th of November, just a couple weeks ago, there was an announcement from Seiju that they were severing ties with Maya Imamori, which also meant that she would be stepping down from Gozyuuger. At one point there was also a statement from Maya, but I believe that her socials have since been deleted, so you may have to look it up. They all stated that she's stepping down for underage drinking, which is different from all the allegations that have been coming out before. Underage drinking is still a big deal because we're talking about a kids series, and this had a great impact on the series because by the time that this happened, episode 37 came out, which was when Fashion No One comes around, and you can see how there's scenes where you see Maya was gonna take a part, and then everything gets cut off from there. Even the opening got cut off. It really made the episode feel very weird or different because you could tell some stuff. There's even like a couple frames where you can see like just a sneak peek of Maya's head among clothes, and you know, they basically had to edit her out ASAP. Same thing happened with episode 38 where we see the Deca Red Universe Warrior with Garo's actor. A lot of weird framing where you don't see Maya, and when you do see her speak, it's in suit, and also you can tell it's a voiceover with a different person. I believe that the person is credited, but I do not know the exact name. But yeah, basically total erasure from the series after the announcement. Now, why is she no longer in the series if she broke ties with the agency? Because I believe the way it works is Sentai Toei make a deal with the agency to use the talent. They don't do a deal directly with the talent. However, I don't know about this. Also, there's been a bunch of speculation that historically being a toku actor is not a great paying job. There's stories about some actors, I think in Kamen Rider, maybe Sentai, that said that they had to basically drink a bunch of water that year because they didn't have much money. At the same time, I also hear a bunch of comments about how the catering, the food catering at Toei film shoots is also pretty good. And I do remember this being mentioned by I think Erika Matsumoto, who is the Yellow Ranger, Kamakiri Oja from King Oja. But anyways, and ever since then we've had more allegations come out about Maya, about how there was gonna be a conference where she apologized and she didn't appear, or that she didn't care about apologizing. Also that she was working maybe in a bar, and you know, people taking it a bit more extreme about what kind of work she was doing in a bar, or maybe that's where she was underage drinking. But all of that stuff is unconfirmed. And now that she's gone, what's happening with GozyuUnicorn? Well, a bunch of people were speculating about what it could be, if maybe one of the existing cast members was gonna maybe take over, like book it, or maybe her sister Otto in the series. But ever since then, we've had the announcement directly from the Sentai social media where they have announced that Kohaku Shida is gonna be the new GozyuUnicorn, replacing Maya Imamori under the same role as Ichigawa Somino. So it's basically the same character, just having a recast. Historically, over here in the West, Power Rangers has been no stranger to recast, but this is something that's been a bit more rare in the Japanese side. We have had scenarios where we have an actor or a previous Sentai Ranger also be in newer series. I'm thinking of Magi Jello, for example, who I also think was in, was it Go Ranger or Go Busters? I don't remember which one exactly. But also, this was news that was positively received. If you don't know Kohaku Shida, she is a former Sentai alumni. She used to be Oni's sister in Don Brothers, which is the 46 Sentai series after Senkaigen, which was another anniversary one. Don Brothers is a great series. Personally, as you can see, I have the shirt. A friend gave it to me in Japan, but also was the first Sentai series that I saw in full, and I really liked it. It was very great, and it's because of Kohaku Shida's previous experience as Oni's sister, her expressiveness, and also because she basically is already learned about how it is to work in a tokusatsu production like this. A lot of people feel positive about her coming on, and you know, it was a positive note after all of the drama and negativity that there had been about Gozyuuger. We're about to have Gozyuuger's episode 39, which was also announced to be a clip show, kind of like a recap, similar to the one we had where Koeru Goju Red goes to work in Toei, and the guy that does Domon Kashu from G Gundam is there. So I'm curious to see how the episode plays out, because apparently after that, in episode 40 onward, is when we have Kohaku Shida as GozyuUnicorn. So really excited to look forward to that. Maybe we will have a sneak peek on their episode preview. If you want to know more about Kohaku Shida, I have a video on her coming soon. It might already be out here in the video. It's gonna be coming soon. It's gonna be in Spanish though, but feel free to check it out. And that's basically the situation up until here. At this point, while I've been mentioning a bunch of my thoughts about this video, I would give my full-on opinion. I guess if you're expecting me to say, hey, do I think it's true or not, I really don't know and I really don't care. You know, it's like, yes, it's dramatic, it's, you know, something you don't expect from a series like this, but I'm trying to think of Sentai. I'm trying to, you know, have appreciation for the brand and, you know, not try to be disrespectful both to that and, you know, the Japanese actors involved, the Japanese community, everyone, you know. I don't think that's good for a kid series, you know, if it was something like a bit older, you know, if it happened in Kamen Rider maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I just don't really want to think about that. I do think that the underage drinking allegations are a bit too severe. However, Japanese society, has a lot of scrutiny, so I do understand the severity of this, especially thinking about the kids once again. But I will have to say it does leave open speculation to thinking about, hey, is this a cover-up for something bigger than happened? Because I do think that in that regard, if all of that had been true, it's something way too intense thinking about the kids. So you will definitely try and mitigate the impact. I don't know, it's messy, it's tricky, and like I said, I don't want to be disrespectful. Who knows? This is something that technically still developing. However, I'm still gonna abstain of commenting until we have more official news sources or stuff to follow up. I may do some coverage after the new episodes where we start seeing Kohaku Shida's GozyuUnicorn, but that's basically it. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments. It's the first time I'm doing one of these in English. I usually do them in Spanish, but let's see how it goes. If you would like to hear me talk about something else as well, let me know. I do constant Gozyuuger coverage, Kamen Rider sets, and I've been watching a bunch of previous series as well. So let me know if there's one you would like to hear about, and hop on the Discord that we have where we talk about tokusatsu and sometimes we react to the episodes in real life. Yeah, that's basically it. Thank you very much. I hope you guys liked the video. Saludos. Thank you. Gracias. Bye.